out on that field today, ask yourself this question.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We ready! We ready! We ready! We ready! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house!
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like.
Football is getting hit. That's it.
It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. We ready? And let's go to the house. And let's go to the house.
We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how like we the Miami Heat of football. Yap, 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 yap. The bottom line is you got to buckle up your chin strap. It's embarrassing. Yap, 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 yap. Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from them. He's a man. They can be hit just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's war out there. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like.
Oh, my bad, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world.
What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We ready? And let's go to the house. And let's go to the house. It's a wrap. Game over.
All right, y'all. Hey, listen, it is a Talk Your Team Tuesday right here on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on ROKU TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. And man, listen to me. We got a great day going for you today. I'm trying to get a good camera angle. Got a lot of shadows in the back of me, but hey, anyway, man, what a week in sports. What a weekend in sports. The NFL is over as far as regular season goes. Several teams, man, tried to make it to the finish line and could not get it done. But the playoffs are now set, and the national championship in college football is now over, and it is all Georgia. I got my Georgia red on today. Got to give it to them dogs, man. Them Bulldogs got it going. So we're going to talk about all that on this fast break edition, but let me get a quick break in. I will be right back right after this on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on Roku TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. We'll be right back after this quick break on the lunch break.
Discouragement, sorrow, distance. Your arguments cause damage to your family. The hurt leads to divorce. You feel like there is nowhere else to turn. But there is hope for you. That's where we come into play. There is an overcomer that lives inside of you, one ready to take on the world as you leap for joy, living in victory. You'll grow to love yourself and others. There's life after divorce, and you can claim it today. Get Over Divorce, where your new story begins here every Thursday on YouTube and Spreaker. Looking for a sports program that gives you the flavor.
Washington Commanders? Really?
This whole thing stinks to high heaven.
That pulls no punches.
Thuggish act by a thuggish actor.
That gives you some humor.
Praise everything LeBron does and never criticize it.
If you want a show that gives you good times, then this is that show. BS3 Network proudly presents.
I am Cole Johnson, and welcome to
Cole Sports with a Z. Every Friday on Patreon, and every Saturday on YouTube, Spreaker, and all other outlets.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on Roku TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. It's Talk Your Team Tuesday. I got a fast break edition going. I apologize for having to get in, get out. Got some other stuff I got to get to today. But again, a busy weekend in sports. Last night was all Georgia. I'll talk about that briefly. But I got to bring the news of the month, of the year, you name it. It's already January 2023, and this already is one of the biggest stories of the year. A little bit more than a week after Damar Hamlin collapsed on the field, suffering a cardiac arrest event, having to be resuscitated on the field multiple times. He has left the hospital in Cincinnati, Ohio. He, as y'all know, they took the breathing tubes out, a couple days back, and he was talking, got a chance to tune into his team, dial in video to them, and, put up the, I still got it going on. Damar strong, Hamlin strong. And now he has been released from the hospital in Cincinnati. Has been transferred to the hospital in Buffalo. But here's what he said with his own words via Twitter. Grateful for the awesome care I received at UCMC. Happy to be back in Buffalo. The docs and nurses at Buffalo General have already made me feel at home. So that is great news for everyone who has been praying for Damar Hamlin. Keep that going. Keep that going. I also want to put out another prayer request. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I don't know if it's on this site or if it's on another site. Yeah, no. Continue to pray for Peyton Hillis, former NFL player. Peyton Hillis was trying to save his children from drowning and is now in ICU fighting for his life as well. Former NFL player Peyton Hillis, please now send your prayers out to Damar Hamlin's full recovery and for Peyton Hillis's full recovery. Excuse me, I'm still fighting with this bronchitis. So add Peyton Hillis to your prayers. Good thought, positive energy, whatever you do, add Peyton Hillis to that list. All right, let me get to these Georgia Bulldogs because they put it on TCU last night. It was all Georgia all night long, and Georgia jumped out to a 10-0 lead before TCU even got on the board. It was 10-7, and that was as close as it got, other than it being 0-0. So again, it was all Georgia. In fact, if I look at the box score again, at the end of the first quarter, 17-7. After the half, it was excuse me, heading into the half, it was 38-7, and then it went bad from there. They outscored TCU 27-0 in the second half. Final score 65-7. And what can you say? Nothing. You can't say anything. Georgia had 32 first downs. TCU had 9. Georgia, was 9 for 13 on third down. TCU was 2 for 11. Georgia went for it one time on fourth down. They got that. TCU went for it twice, didn't get it. Watch this. Total yards, 589 for Georgia, 188 for TSU. Passing yards, 335 for Georgia, 152 for TCU. Rushing yards, 254 for Georgia, 32 for TCU. So they know where to spend that. They know where to spend. Georgia was the best team in college football for 2022, 2023. And, again, people are going to say what they want to say about TCU. They earned their right to be there, but they couldn't get it done after, going up against Georgia. So Georgia, back-to-back national champions. Congratulations to them. Excuse me. I am really fighting with this bronchitis, which is another reason why I'm doing just the fast break edition of the show. Let me give you the final top 10 poll for the lunch break. Number 1, Georgia, of course. Number 2, I'm going to go with Ohio State. Here's why I'm going with Ohio State. They played Georgia within a point, and they were a missed field goal away from beating Georgia. Ohio State's got to be the number 2 team. Number 3, I'm going TCU because they did beat Michigan. Number 4 is going to be Michigan. Number 5, I'm going Tennessee. I know everybody wants to go Alabama. I'm going Tennessee because Tennessee dog walked Alabama when it counted. So at number 6, I'm going Alabama. Number 7, we'll go Penn State. Number 8, the Washington Huskies. Number 9, my alma mater, the folks down there in New Orleans, the Green Wave, roll. And number 10, we'll go Utah. So again, number 1, Georgia. Number 2, Ohio State. Number 3, TCU. Number 4, Michigan. Number 5, Tennessee. Number 6, Alabama. 7, Penn State. 8, Washington. 9, Tulane. And number 10 is none other than the Utes of Utah. So that is the final power ranking for the lunch break for college football. And we'll see how things go coming up next season. All right, let me take a quick break. When I come back, we're going to get into the NFL and the current playoff rankings. And I got to talk about the firing of Lovie Smith by the Houston Texans. Second year in a row, they've got a one-and-done coach. So let me get to that when we come back right after this on the lunch break, powered by JM&E.
Alicia.
You can't hold somebody to that standard if you haven't voiced what you want and what you're needing from that.
Mika.
If you're not communicating expectations, you're waiting for your feelings to be hurt.
Nicole.
A lot of people don't want to take the time out to be alone and to get themselves together.
Ivan.
You got to be willing to work through stuff. And from the jump street, y'all done had problems. Maybe you don't need to be working through those.
BS3 Network proudly presents Queen 3 and King podcast. Live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central. This is a BS3 Network presentation. Politics.
They'll write the law, but they'll enforce it differently. Is that going to apply both ways?
Religion.
God never said that we can't reason together. Matter of fact, he said, let us sit and reason together.
Relationship.
I believe that everybody wants and needs somebody.
From a man's perspective.
They say, girls, if I put some polish on that and get him to buy some different clothes, girl, he could be a winner chicken dinner.
Join the thought engineer.
There's nothing wrong with me developing my piece and you developing your piece, but understand the goal is to come together.
And comedian John Yogi.
Negro, I don't need you putting on no chapstick up there in the pulpit. You do that over there in your chair.
Get ready for
Man Talk Monday. Woo!
Live every Monday at 7 p.m. Central.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on Roku TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. All right, 2 great shows right there from the BS3 network, Man Talk Mondays and the Queen 3 and King podcast. That one's going to be tonight at 7 o'clock. Man Talk Monday was last night. So, again, great shows. If you got a Roku streaming device, just download BS3 TV. You'll thank me. If you don't have Roku, go to bs3network.com. That's bs3network.com. All right. The Houston Texans finished 3-13-1 after they came from behind to beat the Indianapolis Colts. And, folks got mad because by beating the Colts, Lovie Smith effectively gave the number 1 pick in the upcoming NFL draft to the Buffalo Bills. The Texans will pick number 2. I don't think the Texans miss out on anything by picking 2 versus 1. They'll still get one of the 2 franchise quarterbacks in the draft. Excuse me. Either C.J. Stroud from Ohio State or Bryce Young from Alabama. But, of course, the fan base here in Houston is just different, man. I tell you what, they are just different. They like who they like. They don't like who they don't like. And so be it. It's not just them, it's the local media as well. I know I'm stepping on in some shaky ground, but hell, y'all know me. I've been very careful recently about what I've said about the organization, what I've said about its leadership, but today's a different day. I'm going to say what I got to say. I don't have the video. I can't put the video up, but I'm going to play the audio of some of what CEO and Chairman Cal McNair had to say about the organization. So y'all check this out. Listen to this. I'm going to stop it right there because it's already malarkey. And let me tell you why. If they were committed to looking at every area, including coaching of the organization to make it better and take the next step, then he'd be talking about firing Lovie Smith and Nick Caserio. If he was seriously looking at improving every area of the team, including coaching, he would be talking about firing Lovie Smith and Nick Caserio because, excuse me, y'all, Nick Caserio is the one to put the team together. He's the one to put the team together. He's the one that hired David Culley. He's the one that put the team together for David Culley. He's the one that hired Lovie Smith, and he's the one that put the team together for Lovie Smith. So if that was a true statement, then it would include front office and coaching. And again, you had a coach who had one season to put together a team, a winning record with a team that had one Pro Bowl player. And that player was Laramie Tunsil, who had some injuries this year. So no Pro Bowl caliber quarterback, no Pro Bowl caliber wide receivers, even while you had Brandon Cooks, no Pro Bowl caliber tight ends, no Pro Bowl caliber running back. You had a running back that was pretty doggone good in Dameon Pierce. He was a rookie, but behind him, you had Agumbawale, and you had I hate to even say the name, Rex Burkhead. That was your backup running back room. Your quarterback room, Davis Mills, Jeff Driscoll, and Kyle Allen. That's your quarterback room. And then you get over on the other side of the defense, no Pro Bowl caliber defensive ends, no Pro Bowl caliber defensive tackles, no Pro Bowl caliber linebackers, no Pro Bowl caliber defensive backs. But Lovie Smith was supposed to turn that into a winning record. And the guy that put it together for the second year in a row is still sitting right there and now is being fully trusted to find the next head coach. Let me just get to my point as I get ready to get out of here on this show. The Texans don't know what they're doing. I used to say all the time that the general manager of the New York Giants, when he was there, Dave Gettleman, who said, we have a plan after he traded Odell Beckham Jr. and others. He said, oh, we have a plan. You ain't had no plan. The Texans don't have a plan. And if they have a plan, it ain't a good plan. It's not a good plan if for 2 years in a row you have fired a head coach. I'm not even going to get into the race aspect of it. And there is a race aspect of it for all you. Oh, God, it's race baiting. It's race baiting. I'm not going to get into that today. You have had a general manager that has selected 2 head coaches and put 2 teams together, has handled 2 drafts. And this guy has not gotten it done. But for some reason, you continue to have faith in him to find your head coach and to put your organization together so that it can have a winning record. That's the definition of insanity. Doing the same things over and over again and expecting a different result. And while I'm on it, let me get to the local media. For the media personalities that cover the team's practices, that covers every single press conference, that gets to sit and have lunch with Lovie and sit and have personal conversations with him, for you to sit there in that man's face and smile at him and laugh with him and joke with him, and then go back to your respective organizations and get with your colleagues and start laughing and joking about him being fired, shame on you. And I mean that. Shame on you. That is the definition of a hypocrite. You're smiling in somebody's face. You're acting like you really concerned and care. And then you get back with your friends and your colleagues and you get on your networks and then you start laughing and joking and literally praying for, demanding this man's firing. And don't get it twisted. I don't have any personal relationship with Lovie Smith. What I have is a level of integrity. If you can't ask him the tough questions when you're in his face, if you can't say the tough things to him when you're standing right there face to face with him, don't get on your networks and then get bold and brave. And there are a lot of people in this city that do that, a lot of them. And don't get it wrong. I know that there are people like that in every city, but there's a few of us. There's a few of us who can see through the minutia, who can see through the bull, and who can look at the entire organization objectively. It does not matter if this organization brings in Bill Goddoggone Belichick. It does not matter if they bring in Andy Goddoggon Reid. If they keep putting that level of talent on the field, both of them will have a hard time getting it together. Look at what happened with Bill Belichick in Cleveland with that roster. Look at what happened with Andy Reid when he started losing talent in Philadelphia. Please. This organization does not have a clue. They are an embarrassment, and they are a shame before the Father. And now that there are multiple openings in the NFL, there's an opening in Carolina, there's an opening in Indianapolis, there's an opening in Arizona, and there's an opening in Houston. If I had to rank those, I would go Arizona number 1. I would go Carolina number 2. I would go Indianapolis number 3. And I would go Houston a distant number 4. Any coach with any real integrity, any real unction to know what a quality organization is and to be a part of a quality organization would think twice about taking this job. You've already shown us how little you respect your head coaches. You've already shown us how little you respect giving them the things that they need to be successful. Cal McNair is the Mark Davis of the NFL today. Mark Davis, the son of Al Davis, did not have a clue on how to run an NFL organization. Cal McNair is right there in that category. He is the Dan Snyder without all the nasty stuff. He doesn't have a clue on how to run an organization. And I know I'm risking my media credentials. I know I'm risking covering the organization, but I'd rather look myself in the face and know that I told the truth. Excuse me. Look myself in the face and know that I told the truth than to be like some of these two-faced hypocrites right here in Houston. I got to take a break. I'll be back and wrap it up right after this on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on ROKU TV, courtesy of BS3 TV.
What do you get when you watch or listen to the Life Happens podcast? Well, I'll let them tell you.
Kim and I are both ministers of the gospel, and what Life Happens podcast is a beautiful balance by simply taking our spirituality with real life and merging it together to create a beautiful balance. And that's what we do.
BS3 Network proudly presents Life Happens podcast, where Christianity and life intersect. Live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central. There's a 100% chance of a laugh thunderstorm. 4 men with different viewpoints take a movie, show, or documentary and review it uncensored, unfiltered, uncompromised, with no holds barred. Join BS3, Wilkes, King Dog, and H-Rap B as they take on Hollywood their own way. BS3 Network proudly presents The Forecast, where H-Rap B always predicts,
if I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from God.
Live every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
All right, y'all. Back here on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on ROKU TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. Y'all, please excuse my cough. Please excuse me having to take breaks and get my voice together, man. When I tell you I'm dealing with this thing, I'm dealing with it. It's dealing with me as well. All right, let's get to the NFL. Playoffs are set. Playoffs are set, man. Detroit gave it all they could. What a way to finish, beating the snot out of the Green Bay Packers, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, man, say what you want to say about Mike Tomlin. The dude pulled out a winning record with this team, with this situation at quarterback. I think they have found their next quarterback. Very, very impressed with what they did with the young man, Kenny Pickett, out of Pittsburgh. Got to give them some love as well. Seattle Seahawks, man, who would have thought that would have happened? So I just had to give honorable mention to them. Seattle, of course, is in the playoffs, but let me just get to the actual playoff matchup. This coming Saturday in the AFC wildcard game, you got the Seattle Seahawks visiting the San Francisco 49ers, who pulled off the number 2 seed. Seattle comes in at the number 7, but they are in the playoffs with Geno got doggone Smith as their quarterback. And if you still got announcers out there talking about the butt fumble, please, they probably still using 8-track and cassettes and still walking around with bell bottom and platform shoes. So again, Seattle is visiting the San Francisco 49ers this coming Saturday at 3:30. And then in the AFC wildcard playoff game, I'm sorry, I said the AFC for Seattle and 49ers. That's the NFC. For the AFC wildcard game, it'll be the Jacksonville Jaguars, who did it against the Tennessee Titans to get the win and get in. They will host the LA Chargers. That's going to be a good matchup. Jacksonville, great down the stretch. Great run down the stretch. And the Chargers, of course, are the Chargers. We'll see if they can get it done. But because their head coach decided to play their starters for the better part of the game, one of his key players got injured with a back injury and still questionable for that game. So we'll see how that works. I won't be surprised if Jacksonville wins that. On Sunday, the early game will be another AFC wildcard matchup. The Buffalo Bills, who took care of their business against New England to get the number 2 seed, will host the Miami Dolphins, who got in by virtue of New England losing and them winning their game. So Buffalo's going to host Miami. Listen, don't sleep on that game. Don't sleep on that game. And again, Miami's got some issues at quarterback, but they should have at least one of their top 2 starters back for that game. So again, don't sleep on that game. All right, so then the next game on Sunday will be the Minnesota Vikings, who get in as the number 3 seed, hosting the New York Giants, who are in the playoffs for the first time in a long time. And again, don't sleep on that game. New York can definitely get up there and surprise the Minnesota Vikings. In the AFC wildcard matchup later on that night, it is the Cincinnati Bengals hosting the Baltimore Ravens. The question in that game, will Lamar Jackson play? No Lamar Jackson, all Cincinnati. With Lamar Jackson, toss up. All right, so we'll see what happens down that. And then Monday night, it will be the Dallas Cowboys visiting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't know, y'all. The way Dallas played against Washington in a game that kind of could have kept them in the running for the top seed in the NFC, they got dog walked 26-6. So Dallas has everything that they need to beat Tampa Bay, but whether Dallas will beat Tampa Bay or not remains to be seen. So that's what we got right there. Again, let me give you these playoff matchups for Saturday. Early, it'll be the 49ers hosting the Seahawks. The late game on Saturday will be the Jaguars hosting the Chargers. Sunday starts off at noon with the Bills hosting the Dolphins, followed by the Vikings hosting the Giants, followed by the Bengals hosting the Ravens, and then Monday night it's Buccaneers hosting the Cowboys. All right, before I go, let me just say that the Lunch Break Weekly Keeping Up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge regular season is over. I will announce the top 6 and the winners for week 18, but I will announce the top 6 who will be competing for $500 cash tomorrow. And man, it was close. It was close. We'll make those announcements tomorrow. Let me get out of here. As always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I truly do love you. There's nothing you can do about it except meet us here tomorrow for Winning Wednesday on the lunch break. All right, y'all take care. BS3, love y'all. Talk to you tomorrow.
Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is Tuesday, January 10th, 2023. Number 1. According to a new filing, the Fulton County, Georgia grand jury investigating the actions of Donald Trump and others following the 2020 presidential election has completed its work. The special grand jury was impaneled to look into whether the former president and allies committed any crimes to overturn his loss in the 2020 election. The special grand jury was impaneled to investigate the case, not to issue indictments. However, the grand jury submitted its charging recommendations to Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis. DA Willis will determine the next steps. Over the last 8 months, the special grand jury heard from a wide range of witnesses, including Georgia Governor Brian Kemp and the aforementioned Georgia Secretary of State Raffensperger, as well as members of Donald Trump's team, U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham, White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, and Attorney Rudy Giuliani. Number 2. Last Thursday, President Biden announced the United States will begin blocking migrants from Haiti, Nicaragua, Venezuela, and Cuba from applying for asylum if they are apprehended crossing the U.S.-Mexico border. The asylum seekers will instead be expelled to Mexico without due process as part of the expansion of the contested Trump-era Title 42 pandemic policy. This comes as the Supreme Court is set to decide Title 42's fate in its next session. Mr. Biden sent to Congress an immigration reform plan on his first day in office 2 years ago, but it floundered due to opposition from Republicans who also blocked his request for $3.5 billion to beef up border enforcement. Number 3, the Vermont Health Department Friday increased the state's COVID-19 death toll by nearly 11% after a review found that more than 80 deaths had not been properly entered into a state database. The increase in deaths from 791 to 877 since the start of the pandemic was attributed in part to a reduction in staff as the COVID-19 emergency wound down. Despite the increase, Vermont's COVID-19 death rate is still the lowest in the nation, that according to the health department. Number 4, a dispute between a professor and a student at HBCU Winston-Salem State University led to the student being arrested. Video of the December 14th incident was captured on cell phone video by multiple students. In the video, 2 police officers were putting cuffs on a student, while the student recording said the female student being arrested only responded to the teacher who raised her voice first. The cause of the commotion was over a project that was due, and the teacher and student got into an argument over it. The teacher then told the student to apologize or leave. The argument led another Winston-Salem State employee to call campus police to de-escalate the situation. When they could not, the student was arrested. Number 5, when we think about inflation, we automatically start thinking about how much eggs are at the grocery store. Yeah, but there are other ways that inflation is hurting and helping your finances. And for a list of those reasons, make sure you subscribe to the What You Need to Know newsletter. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Good energy is like sunshine. Shine light into the darkness with your inner radiance. All right. See that? You there in the corner. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern with comedian extraordinaire Damon Williams and Cameron Riley as we discuss today's top headlines and more. To subscribe to my free daily What You Need to Know newsletter, please visit SibylWilkes.com. Be informed, be empowered.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.